$550 to $560 is the sales price.
No.
I'm like cringing over here.
What you think they need right now in the moment, it's getting in the way of you being a more strategic salesperson.
You know how you just get those light bulbs? It's like, wow.
Ding, like this one right here.
Yeah, right. Trying to close them.
You're trying to close. You're closing too fast.
I let it come through the call that I wasn't prepared.
I just want to give you a strategy for this. Hey everybody, Cash Call. Today we're talking to Melissa Gatoff. She's a relatively new agent, super nice person, has a long history in the medical field. Some of the things we identified today is that she really needs to work on her intro. She's still got some apprehension and fear around getting into conversations. She thought she wasn't closing or was letting people, quote, off the hook too easily, not closing them. But in fact, listening to her call, she closes too quick for some sort of action or giving advice, giving information, setting people up on systems. And so she actually needs to hold back her close a little bit more so that she can build more rapport. She can build more of a case for that close. So we go through the calls. Call one, somebody who already bought property. We improve her intro. We teach her how to build more rapport with them so she can ultimately ask for a referral. Call two, give her a better script for old real estate leads and give her a better process for dealing with people who say they're investors or want to invest in real estate. Call three, inbound lead transfer. Help her with her intro and using the information that she knows to better effect to make the consumer feel more comfortable and like they're in the right spot right away, and also correct the fact that she's giving away the value of the property. She's putting a step in front of getting a meeting with them, which is doing a bunch of work for them up front that she set up herself before she can even ask for the appointment. Next call, I have an agent, giving her a better way to go about discovering that somebody has an agent, softening some of her language, and taking down some of the salesy intensity in the conversation that she has, and also a little bit better process around somebody who says they have an agent or is working with somebody. So Melissa, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from.
I'm Melissa Gatoff. I'm from Seal Beach, California. I've been doing real estate effectively for about a year and a half. I got into the business because, in the future, I'd like to be on the investor side. So I want to get savvy with that. Also, more time with my kids, even though I've learned that it doesn't mean more time with your kids. You're on 24/7. So, but at least I get to be with them. I've sold 3 properties so far, and I have not worked with any buyers.
So you're relatively new to the business, and you are doing some prospecting in the database. You've got leads that get provided from your team. What are some of the difficulties that you're having around conversations or converting people into appointments?
I am too nice. I let people off the hook way too easy. I never want to appear too salesy, but I'm being told, you're letting them off the hook too easy, and you're really great at conversating with them, but you can't close them. So I'm really great at getting people on the phone. I'm not good about closing the appointment.
Interesting. Okay. So we're going to try to listen for some of that today. I've been listening to your calls, and in fact, I think that you're a natural closer. You're a natural salesperson, and in fact, that you are actually trying to sell too quickly, if that makes sense. And I'm going to explain that to you as we listen to your calls.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's jump into some of these calls.
Hello?
Hi, is this Keith?
Yeah.
Hey, Keith, this is Melissa. I work with Matt Ferguson over at Splash Real Estate.
So, Melissa, what's wrong with this?
I asked if it was Keith, and I didn't just get into why I was calling.
Right, exactly. So full disclosure, everybody, Melissa is in training with us. She's one of our students, and so that's why I'm asking her what's wrong instead of pointing it out for her. Exactly. So how should that intro go, Melissa?
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Keith. Oh, shoot, I did it again.
All right, let's do it again.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Keith, hey, oh, dang it. It's hard.
What word am I saying, Melissa?
Hello.
Yeah.
Why is
Melissa,
it so hard?
You got to slow down in your mind.
Yeah.
Slow down. Be present. Stop trying to be right or controlling or anything. Just be present with the person. Repeat back what they say. So do it again.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello. This is Melissa with Splash Real Estate. I'm just giving you a call. I saw you in our database, and I was just reaching out and seeing if you ever had a chance to buy or sell in Seal Beach.
Better job, Melissa. Now we're gonna help fix your intro just a little bit more. Let's hear what you did.
I work with Matt Ferguson over at Splash Real Estate.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, I just want to give you a call because I saw that you texted us that you're all settled in Seal Beach. You're kind of just seeing what was around. But I just wanted to make sure that if you were looking for an investment property or anything, that we know what you're looking for, so we can keep an eye out and send those to you if they come our way. I just want to make sure we don't drop the ball, you know?
So I think this was pretty good. It's a little bit wordy, but I think that you did a good approach. So focus on their first word, repeat it back to them. You don't need to ask if it's them. You know it's them, Melissa.
Yeah.
Okay? You do not need to ask if it's them.
It's a bad habit I need to break.
Exactly. And I understand the desire to be right or not mess it up or not be wrong. However, the only person that asks if it's you is typically a salesperson. Everybody else knows it's you when they call you, right?
That's true.
Yeah, exactly, Melissa. Anybody that you call and you already know that it's them, you don't ask if it's them. That's weird. Now, think about it this way. If I call you and I say, hello, is this Melissa? Versus, hello, Melissa, this is Dale with blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, the first one is, this guy's probably a salesperson, right? Second one is, wait a minute, this person knows who I am. I should probably figure out who they are. Yeah? And the second one sounds like they have a reason to be talking to me and it's valid. Do you want to sound like you have a reason to talk to these people and that you are valid?
Yes.
Okay, then stop worrying about whether that guy's name is whatever you said.
Okay.
That is his name. Use his name. What will happen if it's not him?
I'm going to say you have the wrong number.
He'll say this is not so-and-so, right?
Right.
Nobody ever accidentally talked to a salesperson. So stop worrying about that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Practice this with your trainer.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be giving Lori notes on stuff she has to practice.
It's one of our first things we learned from her. First word.
Yep, exactly. And here's what I want to say, Melissa. Great job on making this call in the first place because it is an old, cold, blind lead. So you're doing a great job getting in there and having conversations with people.
Oh, thank you.
So you get past the niceties, and then we get to this.
Yep. No, I appreciate that. If for now we're not in the market on an investment property, so more just I look just kind of as a resident of Seal Beach, just sort of keep tabs of what's out there, what's up on the market.
There's something else that we have that's free and no strings attached. It just sends
So this is you closing. You start closing. Listen to this.
your email every night, every month or every other month, however long you want it. But it sends you your home value each month, and it gives you breakdowns like if you wanted a heal.
So you're closing him for something, right? Basically, you're saying, hey, I can provide this service to you. Would you like this service? And we are 50 seconds into this conversation. So I feel like that's a little too quick. Here's my recommendation when you do this. So obviously the guy bought already. He said he's not interested in investment property. You did a good job asking that. So 2 more things that we can get done in this call. We can get him set up on this automated valuation, which is what you're asking for at 50 seconds in, which I think is a little too quick. And the other thing that we can do is ask him for a referral. But to ask this complete stranger for a referral who hasn't done business with us, and even to ask him if we want to put him on, if he wants to be on our automated system, we need to build a little more rapport with him first. Does that make sense? So we're going to do it on purpose. We're going to build rapport on purpose, and then we're going to make our asks. He's going to be more likely to get onto your automated system if he likes you, more likely to potentially refer people to you if he likes you. So before you make that ask at 50 seconds, when he says, no, we're okay, we're not thinking about investing, we're just, as new residents, we like to keep tabs on the market. Great. Ask some questions like, how'd you, welcome to the neighborhood, first of all. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. How did you happen to pick this neighborhood? See what he has to say. Have you met any neighbors yet? Do you know any of the neighbors yet? Right? See what he has to say. How was the home buying process? How did that go for you guys? Just get some of this feedback. It's rapport building stuff. And then you can go into something like, oh, that sounds fantastic, Melissa. Well, again, welcome to the neighborhood. Usually when somebody buys a home, they've been talking to other people about buying that home and sort of all the bloody details for a long time. Do you happen to know of anybody else who's thinking about making a move or is in the process now and having trouble with it? Okay, so that's ask 1. That's looking for a referral. And you say, no, don't know anybody, but we'll let you know if we find somebody or if somebody asks. Hey, great, thank you so much. I appreciate that. One last thing. Since you like keeping tabs on what's going on in the neighborhood, we have an automated email system that will keep you up to date on how your home value fluctuates based on the market. What's your best email address? I can set you up on that. So I didn't ask you if you wanted it. I said, this is what it is. What's your best email address? I'm going to put you on this. And if I've built rapport with you, and if you kind of like me enough, you're going to go along with it. And now I'm going to have you in the system. Occasionally, some people are going to say, no, I don't need any more emails. I don't want that. Thank you. And that's okay. Sometimes people just say no. How does all that sound, Melissa?
It sounds very polished and better than what I used.
Just a matter of practice is all it is. You have the right elements. You knew that when he said no to the ask about investment property, that you needed to sort of downshift to some other ask. You don't have a problem asking. I'm just suggesting that you'll get better results if you can do it in a little more premeditated way and know that before I make an ask, I've got to build a little more rapport.
Okay.
So, Melissa, tell us a little bit about this next call, this old lead.
He was in what we call the pond. He's been in our database for years and years, and we go around and we call these people just to check in, see if they've ever bought or sold. And he turned out to say that he would like to invest in real estate.
Okay. So let's listen to what you did on the intro script, and I'm going to help you a little bit with your intro for old leads.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, is this Dante?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Dante. My name is Melissa.
We're not going to ask anymore, right? We know it's Dante.
Yeah.
Yep.
I work with Nat Ferguson at Splash Realty.
Uh-huh.
So I was calling you today because I came across your name in our system. And so I knew that back then you probably worked with Nat to either help you buy or sell a home. And just wondering if you had any interest in that today.
So here's what you said. You said, I work with Nat Ferguson at Splash Realty. You probably bought or sold with us in the past, reaching out to see if you had any interest in that today, right?
Yeah.
Now, Melissa, are you working from a script or are you just making it up?
I think this one I had a script in front of me, but I got in my own head and got ahead of myself and forgot what I was supposed to say, and it just kind of went.
Okay. I want to teach you a strategy. In this case, based on the way that you're doing this, where you're leading with Nat's name and Nat's brokerage, right, or company.
Right.
So if you want to use that process, I'm going to teach you a little strategy here, okay? And I'm going to role play it with you. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, Melissa. This is Dale Archdeacon from Splash Realty. Do you happen to remember Nat Ferguson from Splash Realty?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I think you probably bought or sold with Nat at some point in the past, and I wanted to. He wanted me to reach out and first apologize that we've lost touch with you, and also find out if you're planning on making a move anytime in the near future, or if you might be interested in buying investment property.
You're like a genius.
No, I'm not a genius. I just have a lot of practice doing this. Okay.
Okay. I mean, that was so great.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's what we do. So here's psychologically how this works, right? I call you up. I know what your name is. I introduce myself quickly, and I ask you a question. Do you remember Nat Ferguson from Splash Realty? And I just stop, and I see whatever you say, right?
Right.
And that forces the ball into your court, makes you go through your mental register to see if you remember Nat at all, okay? And now I'm not tricking you here. There's no manipulation going on. It's just a matter of if this is how if the database knows or recognizes or might know or recognize his name and you're calling through the old ones, this is the best strategy for presenting that information, right? Hey, here's who I am, where I'm from. Do you remember this person? And stop. See what they say.
Okay.
They could say no, maybe, or they might be kind of a jerk like me and be like, just ignore the question and ask you what you want, right? In which case you could say exactly what I said. Nat asked me to reach out to you, apologize to you that we've lost touch, find out if you have any plans for making a move in the near future, or if you might be interested in buying investment property.
You know how you just get those light bulbs? It's like, wow, it was just that.
Ding.
So, yeah, right?
Like this one right here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, good. Let's practice that.
Okay.
Call me.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, this is Melissa with Splash Real Estate. I work with Nat Ferguson. He asked me to reach out because, and sometime in the past, oh shoot, I forgot what he said.
Hold on. The first thing you want to do, Melissa, what do you want to do?
First word.
You want to ask me if I remember Nat.
Oh, ask. Okay.
Tell me this, Melissa. What's going on? How are you feeling when you call me? Are you feeling nervous?
Yes.
Okay. Why are you nervous?
I always get nervous calling people I don't know because I don't know how they're going to respond.
What happens if they respond negatively or they get mad at you?
They usually hang up.
Okay. But how does that make you feel?
Laugh it off. Sometimes I take a little break.
Okay. Is it upsetting?
I feel like sometimes it is, but on the other hand, I know why they just hate getting sales calls, and they're tired of being called by different people who they don't know.
So, but how does that make you feel?
Discouraged sometimes.
I want you to think about that. Your nervousness, your apprehension. Now, first of all, great job that you're doing it anyway. Okay, you can be afraid and do it anyway. That's excellent. I want to help you be less afraid. It is absolutely 100% normal and natural for somebody to be annoyed with a salesperson calling them out of the blue. That is okay.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Those people are in the right place when that happens. Okay, and not everybody is like that. Do you have the intention of helping them if you possibly can under any power?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I want you to hold on to that feeling. I want you to hold on to that thought and give them permission to be upset with you or give them permission to be annoyed with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, give me permission to potentially be annoyed with you or potentially be angry with you or potentially be confused or whatever it is, okay? Now, I want you to slow down. Think about why we're doing this. The first thing we're doing is I'm saying, hey, this is who I am, where I'm from. Do you recognize this person's name? Stop. Right? All the energy, all of the work now gets put onto that lead. And you're just going to wait to see what that lead says. You have no idea what they're going to say. And you have no emotional attachment one way or the other. So let's do it again. Give me a call. Just listen for the word I say. Ask me if I remember Nat. And wait.
Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Dale.
Hi, my name is Melissa Gatoff. I work with Nat Ferguson. Do you remember him?
Okay.
I should say with Splash Realty, right?
That's good. Let's do it again.
Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Dale.
Hi, Dale. I'm Melissa. I work at Splash Realty with Nat Ferguson. You worked with him sometime in the past. Do you remember him?
Okay, that's decent.
Okay.
Let's do it again. Make it a little more mysterious, right?
Okay.
Hi, this is Dale Archdeacon, or this is Dale with Splash Realty. I work with Nat Ferguson. Do you remember Nat Ferguson from Splash Realty? That's the question, okay? Super clear. All right, so let's do it one more time. Give me a ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, this is Melissa with Splash Real Estate. I work with Nat Ferguson. Do you remember Nat Ferguson with Splash Realty?
Great job.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I have another question.
Sure.
Is that Nat had changed his company name. So some of these leads are from when his company name was something different.
Okay.
Should I be saying formerly such and such realty or just leave it at Splash?
I think that it just depends on, you got to feel it out, right?
Okay.
What was the name of his company previously?
Ferguson Realty.
Okay. Nat Ferguson, now Splash Realty, used to be Ferguson Realty. It's really the technique.
Is it too wordy though?
It just depends. It doesn't really matter. You can slide it in there. I want you just focused on the fact that the whole purpose of this is to do a pattern interrupt with somebody. Because not only do you enter call where I know who you are, right? I'm calling you, I know who you are, and I'm presenting you with information and asking you to tell me whether it makes sense to you or whether you remember it. Now, Melissa, whether they remember, it's not about do they or do they not. It is a pattern interrupt, okay? They may remember. They may not remember. They may think they remember and they actually don't. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just that we're setting a different tone and you're in control of the conversation.
Okay.
That's what's going on.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. All right, then what you heard me ask was he wanted me to reach out to you, apologize for losing touch, see if you had plans on making a move in the near future or if you might be interested in investing in real estate. That's super easy, right?
Yeah, if I can remember it.
Okay, good. That's a much more powerful intro for an old lead.
And so I knew that back then you probably worked with Nat to either help you buy or sell a home. I was just wondering if you had any interest in that today.
Buying. Is there any good deals out there?
There's lots of good deals out there if you're looking for them.
Good deals?
Yeah, I'm looking to buy something. And
Okay.
also I'm looking for an architect too.
Okay.
So
Where are you looking to buy at?
I don't know. I'm not getting tired of California. All this nonsense is driving me crazy. I think we should at least another property outside of California.
Okay, outside of California?
Yeah, I'm I don't know. What do you think? What's going on in this world? I can't figure out ups and downs anymore.
Well, property always builds equity.
Okay, so the guy said we should buy property outside of California, right? And then he shifts gears into what's going on in the world. That's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's a red flag, okay? So let's see where this goes. And you start saying, well, property goes up and down. So I was a little cautious about you starting to give advice instead of asking questions. I think you generally want to stay away from giving advice or giving information. You want to ask questions, but let's hear what you do.
So it depends on what you can afford and what you're looking to do with it.
Oh, no, I have multiple homes. So I'm just to buy something.
Good job. You turned it back around to a question.
Something that's, buy something to hold. So
okay. I have a friend right now who has an off-market. I have a friend who does off-market listings.
Now, what are you doing?
Trying to close them.
You're trying to close. You're closing too fast. So you know how you said initially that you have difficulty closing or that you let them go too quick? My argument is you close too fast.
Okay.
You close too fast. I want you to look at it this way. Your close is like a gift that you're going to give to somebody. Your close is a gift you're going to give to them. Your close is the result. It's the prescription. It's the path forward for someone. And before you give them that gift, you have to know a few things. You need to know, should I give this gift to you or not? Is this gift right for you or not? Are you the person I want to give this gift to? Frankly, I'm not sure that I want to give this guy a gift yet. Yeah. I don't know if I believe him yet or understand his situation enough yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Not only that, you only get to give your gift once. Yeah. After that, there are diminishing returns.
Depreciating value.
Depreciating value. It's like the prize in the cereal box. It looks amazing from the outside, looks awesome. And then when you dig that cheap piece of plastic out of the cereal at the bottom, you're like, that was disappointing. Here's my point, is that the first time you close is the most powerful. You use all the power and all the attractiveness in that first close. After that, if they reject it, it becomes harder and harder to get a yes because now the game has changed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been doing a lot of them. She has one right now in Cyprus. A lot of agents right now, I don't know why it's so popular right now, but a lot of agents are doing off-market listings. So definitely having someone on your side who connects with people like that, who can find you deals, because these are the ones that need a little work, or the sellers just don't want to put the money into it to fix it up to sell. But it sounds like maybe you're an investor.
Yeah. So I'm always looking for an investment.
Okay. What other states have you been looking in?
Not a bad question. But he said, I'm always looking for a good investment. I want to give you a few other questions that are going to be helping, that are going to help you suss out whether somebody's a real investor or not. Okay. Questions like, how many units do you own? Right? Yeah. How do you determine whether a property is a good rental or not? How do you do your numbers? Any person who's a real investor or has experience in investing, regardless of what it is, can tell you how they do their numbers. They can tell you how they do their numbers on a flip. They can tell you how they do their numbers on a buy and hold. They can tell you how they do their numbers on pretty much anything. If they can't give you numbers, or they start messing around, or you ask them, hey, what's your price range? And they're like, oh, whatever's a good deal, whatever makes sense. Then push back on that a little bit. Okay. Great. So are we saying you've got $1 million in cash, or are we saying like 50,000 in cash? Give me a price range. Right?
Yeah.
Push back. Real investors, experienced investors, they can tell you 6 ways to Sunday how the money works, how they figure out their numbers, where they get their financing from, and what they've done in the past. Easily.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the only caution here is if they're a first-time investor. If they're a first-time investor and you start asking questions like this, they typically, if they're serious and have the capability, they're not going to screw around. They're going to very quickly tell you what they don't know and that they're a first-time person, and they will work hard to prove to you that they are going to do it and that they have the capability to do it, right? And then they'll ask you questions. So people won't be dancing around. It's either an investor tells you straight up what it is and how it is and what they want and how they want it, or a first-timer who can and will do something will start to defer to you very quickly and asking you for advice.
Okay.
Okay? And then you can just go through sort of figuring out if they have the capability to do this and where they're at in the process. So this guy, I listened to this call, he does a lot of pontificating. So did he ever turn out to be anything?
No. I sent him a few things. I found one he really liked that was in his price range for his daughter. Called to make a showing. Turned out they accepted an offer that day, and then he never responded again.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this is a good way to sort of suss out people like that. Next call. Do you know what this lead source was? So you were out of the office or whatever it may be?
So it was a lead source called Diverse we were using for a while. Secretary is supposed to answer the call, get some basic information from them. Unfortunately, I don't get the information right away, and sometimes not. It would take a long time for him to get the information. So she was like, I sent over the information. It's like, no, I don't get it. So you need to tell me what I'm getting. What are you transferring here?
Okay, great. So let me hit play.
It's Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. This is Aubrey with Diverse. I have Dan on the line interested in selling. I just went ahead and sent you the form, and I will send him over.
I don't have access to the form until Nat releases it, which sometimes takes some time. Can you give me some more background?
Okay. So the address they're wanting to sell is...
I'm going to skip forward a little bit to where you get into the call with him.
Hey, good afternoon, Dan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. So I hear that you're looking into listing your property.
Now, you have a lot more information than just listing his property, right?
I got his name, the address.
The area.
The area.
Okay, so you have a lot more info. I want you to understand when a lead comes in, whatever the lead source is, if they come in and you want to use as much information as you have, especially if it's a warm transfer, a live transfer from an ISA or a live transfer from anyone else, because I want you to think about the consumer's perspective here, right? If the consumer entered in information, they expect that we all know it. If the consumer had a conversation with somebody, they expect that we all know it, right? That's their expectation. And we don't know what kind of personality type they are until we start talking to them. So there's a couple things we want to do. When a prospect comes in or gets live transferred to us, we want them to feel like, hey, these people know what they're doing. I didn't waste my time talking about my situation or giving information. And the person I'm now talking to really understands what's going on. Like they're up to speed. I haven't wasted any time. The way you do that, Melissa, is you have to feed them back every shred of what you know. So that would sound like, if you're this lead, I would say, hello, Melissa, this is Dale Archdeacon with Nat Ferguson's team. Looks like you're interested in potentially selling your property in area on street, right? What questions can I answer for you? Or whatever it is your process, wherever you take it from there, okay? But I gave you back a lot more information than just what you said, which is, looks like you're interested in selling your property. And I'm doing it on purpose to show authority, to show that I'm up to speed, to take control, and to make you feel like you've done the right thing and you're in the right place. Does all that make sense?
Yes.
That will make the prospect feel better. And if you get one of those real A-type jerks who already think everybody's wasting their time, it will make them feel better and the call will go better.
Okay.
Yeah, well, my mom has a condo that she uses as a rental property, and she bought it on a 1031 exchange 3 years ago. But now she wants to sell it, and she wants to buy property out of state, but she doesn't know how that works. So can you kind of explain what she needs to do?
Okay.
Probably Tennessee.
Okay. All right. And
then,
let's see. Does she want to do another 1031 type thing?
if she doesn't need to know, she'd rather, be able to pick and choose the property and keep some of the money in her pocket.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And what, it's in Eastvale, you said, right?
Yeah.
And,
so what are you trying to do here?
I think that I was trying to, at that moment, find a piece of paper because I was trying to write it down, and I let it come through the call that I wasn't prepared.
Do you know how 1031 exchanges work?
I know the basics. One of the things I thought I should have done was tell them that they needed to refer to a tax professional.
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I'm going to show you what you should do. Let's go back here to where you don't know. He asks you a question that you don't know how to answer, okay? And I just want to give you a strategy for this.
So I hear that you're looking into listing your property.
Yeah, well, my mom has a condo that she uses as a rental property, and she bought it on a 1031 exchange like 3 years ago, but now she wants to sell it, and she wants to buy property out of state, but she doesn't know how that works. So can you kind of explain what she needs to do?
Can you kind of explain what she needs to do? Now, you're a deer in headlights. You're like, I don't know how to answer this question, right? You're like, I don't know. Put it back on him, okay? Get him to tell you what he doesn't know. Exactly.
Okay.
And so you might do that by, Melissa asks me, hey, can you tell me how that works? She doesn't know how to buy property out of state or go about it. Can you tell me how that works? I might turn it back on you and I might say, can you give me a few more questions that you have about the process so that I know where to start?
Okay.
Okay, I've just turned it back on you. You need to ask me more questions, which are going to reveal to me and yourself what exactly it is that you don't know and that you want answers for. Because he might ask you questions like, well, can we sell a property in a 1031 exchange, and do we have to pay taxes on it or not? Or do we have to file papers to sell it? Or how to, get him to ask you more questions about it. Okay. And go educate yourself about 1031 exchanges. But within a minute, it's not even a minute 55 because we had that prep work. So we're probably only 30 seconds into this conversation with the guy. Do not tell him to go talk to his accountant, okay? Because at 30 seconds in, you have no rapport. And if you tell the guy just to go talk to his accountant, then you're going to most likely lose the opportunity to build rapport as soon as he figures out you're not the person to talk to. Instead, what you did here, you did a great job. You start asking him questions about the property because you didn't know what else to do. So that stalled for time. It built some rapport. That's great. But that simple technique of, I don't know how to answer your question, turn it back to him and make him ask you more specific questions that you can then take down, right? And as he's asking the questions, you can repeat them back to him. So he feels like he's kind of getting something, even though you're not answering them yet. All right, I'm going to jump forward. And I want to talk about this.
For 421, she believes.
Okay. And how much does she owe now on it?
Nothing.
Okay, so it all goes in your pocket. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the capital. I don't think because her.
Do you now know how this works, Melissa? How does it work?
Yeah, I shouldn't say anything about capital gains because it's not my area of expertise, and I was just trying to figure out how much money she had to work with, but instead of asking her those questions, I could have just asked point blank, do you know how much equity you have?
For what reason? Why do you want to know how much equity?
Trying to figure out, well, I guess I don't need to know the price point for buying because they're going to buy in another state.
What's the most important thing in this conversation? Where should we end up in this conversation? Where would you want this conversation to end? Do you want to sell her properties in Tennessee?
No. I want an appointment to sell her property here.
An appointment to sell her property here. Okay. Good. So we don't need to know what the equity of her property is. You're trying to figure out her capital gains tax for her. Yeah. So you don't need to do that. She needs to talk to her accountant anyway. It's not a straightforward calculation. But I can tell you that in general, capital gains, if you've owned it for less than a certain period of time, it's 20%. If you've owned it for more than whatever that period of time is, it's 15% just for capital gains alone. And then people have income tax and other things like that. So just know enough that you can give enough of a vague answer that you can then direct them to talk to their accountant. And this far into the call is a decent time to be able to do that. Right? You've probably built enough rapport. So let's hear where you go next with it.
So she could sell and then buy somewhere else. Female. If someone bought a condo for $400,000, doesn't owe anything, and is selling it for $5, what would the capital gains like that be on it?
Well, the state and federal, and it's about 30%.
I'm going to show you the danger here.
30%. Okay.
Yeah, and it's different based on how much it is.
Yeah, so she bought it for $4 and it's worth like $530 now. So she could possibly be paying capital gains at about 30%.
30%. That's an enormous number, right? Now,
Yeah.
if I hear 30% on my investment property, I might just be like, no, that's okay. Never mind. Thanks for your time, right? And hang up. Boop. So that's the problem with you giving out numbers like that. And I'm going to show you
Yeah.
another problem about you giving out numbers.
I'm like cringing over here. I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
I know what you're thinking, Melissa. You are definitely a customer service oriented kind of person.
I come from a 16-year background in the medical field.
Yeah, so that is actually in some ways is a benefit to you that you are a really great people person. In some ways, it's presenting an issue for you where you are so deeply committed to giving people answers and to serving them what you think they need right now in the moment. It's getting in the way of you being a more strategic salesperson. I now give you the right not to answer people's questions. I give you permission and the right to withhold information that you need to withhold or conduct your conversation in a way that will ultimately give them the greatest good, not just an immediate sort of scratching of an itch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's logical.
Okay, great. I want to show you an example of you giving numbers again that can hurt you.
It's like in your area, from what I can see, without going to see it or the condition inside, it's saying probably around $550 to $560 is the sales price.
Okay.
No. One, you never give a price or a value of a property before you ask somebody else what they think it's worth. Why, Melissa?
Because you need to know what's in their head, like
What if
they've
he
already
thinks-
they've probably already done their Zillow search. They've already probably done their background before they even called you, and they're just trying to see what you say.
They could be pulling it out of their They could have done
Yeah.
their Zillow search. They could have talked to their neighbor. They could have made it up. They could have imagined what they want. I don't even know. The length of possibilities that could be going on are enormous. So you never give a value before you get from them what they think the value is, because what if this guy thinks it's worth 1.5 and you say 500? What's he going to think about you?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. He doesn't want to talk to you. He needs to find a better agent, a different agent, right? All those things can pop up. Never, never, never give that value. Also, you give that value, you've just lost some measure. Think about it this way, Melissa. The general consumer, right, thinks that we're there to open doors, or we're there to give them a price for their house, or we're there to put their house on the MLS, right? That's
Right.
how simple they make what we do. If you give them a key piece of what they think in their simplistic view we're worth, then you've just lost some value. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be possibly a little bit more. I'd need to do a little bit more investigation. This is just a quick
Okay.
look online real quick. To give you a good
Right.
evaluation, I need a little bit of time.
Sure.
I don't want to, that's just what off the top of my head, pulling something up real quick.
Right.
I can
right.
certainly
Okay, that
get
makes
something
sense.
together for you, like a package, so you can look it over.
Okay.
And then you guys can discuss if you like those price points. And then we can meet in person
Okay.
to talk about strategies, how to get it sold, what the time frame would look like, what her goals
Okay.
are for the time frame, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
obviously
So-
you want to start putting offers in on places in Tennessee, but it's
Now, based on what you've just said, what has to happen before he will give you a meeting?
I have to give him the evaluation packet before the meeting instead of giving it to him at the meeting.
Yes, you have to do a bunch of work. Now, you've just set the precedent. I have to do a bunch of work for you before I can earn the right to potentially get a meeting with you. Instead, Melissa, the meeting with them has to precede all the work that you do. You can't do the work if you don't meet. You can't do the work for them if you don't get face-to-face with them. So you've got to prioritize the getting face-to-face with them. At a bare minimum, you have to ask for that appointment in person and then downshift to a video if they say no to that. So that doesn't sound like, hey, Melissa, I'd love to come take a look at the property so I can put together a really great summary of what you'd be able to expect the market to bear for that property. I can come and meet with you in person, or we could do it over video. That's not the way it sounds. Okay? Melissa, I'd love to come meet with you, take a look at the property so I can blah, 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 blah. I'm available for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, whatever it takes, on Wednesday or Thursday. Which one works better for you? And you say, no, Dale, I don't have time. I can't get together, blah, blah, blah. Got it. Okay. We can jump on video real quick and just have a conversation about the building and run through all the particulars. I can downshift to video, but I've got to get you to say no to the face-to-face first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Where did you end up with these people?
So I messed up. I'll, admit it. We have that tool with the home evaluation. I offered to set them up on it. I set it up. I typed in their address and pressed save, but for some reason it auto-populated my zip code. So the first home evaluation she got was not even for her zip code. And she sent me an email like, this isn't even where I live. And I apologized and I tried to correct, but I think it just turned them off. Like, like they saw, because the number they gave me was for her son's shop, wherever that is, or whatever they do there at that shop. And then the number I pulled from like title for her, she never answered. So I lost all communication with them, and I know I didn't do a good job on this call, and that's why I kind of turned it into you, because I knew there was a lot of things I did wrong.
Yeah. So how long ago was that?
I think this was in March. I was co-listing a property with my best friend's dad, who's a retired broker. I was at his house working on the listing agreement, and that call came in. I hung up the phone, and I was like, I just messed that up. And he was just like, well, you got to learn somehow.
That does make sense. We do learn. Like, don't beat yourself up. We've all screwed it up. I have a very long track record of sales and conversations, and if I had to count, it would be impossible for me to count the number of conversations I've screwed up. So it's okay.
I'm actually excited about this next call, because I have after we review it, I have a good outturn for you. Okay,
great. Hey, so I want you to do this. I want you to follow up with that property, those people. Yeah. Just check in with them.
How do but if they're not answering my phone calls or texts or emails, or
When's the last time you reached out to them?
I think in May. I tried to call, they didn't answer. I didn't leave a voicemail.
Did you text?
I did not. Just because the number from title, I'm not even sure if it's her or not. Should I still text?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter whether it's the person or not. So never make another phone call that you won't back up with a text.
I just watched your YouTube. You saying that to somebody?
Yeah, right?
I was like, oh, I don't do that. I should do that.
Yeah, if you make a phone call and you don't leave a voicemail or don't text, I don't recommend that you voicemail, but how many times do we get phone calls, right? Yeah. And nobody, and they don't text. Like, I don't even pay any attention to that. So get in touch with them. All right, Let's hear this one.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
And she was calling me back, so because I had called her and texted her, and she was calling me back. So that's why I said, hi, Ann.
Yeah, I hear the familiarity. Yeah. Was she an inbound lead, or what was or you were just cold
she was I think it's called Google ISA lead, or Google. It was like she clicked on a Google link and answered a bunch of questions.
LSA?
I think it's LSA. Yeah, answered a bunch of questions and then went into our database as a lead.
Okay.
And I had called, she didn't answer. I texted, and then she called me back.
Okay, good job.
So, looking at some homes this morning?
Yes. So I've seen this listing in.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering if we can make an appointment to look at the house today, because both of us, me and my husband, are off today, and tomorrow we have work. So,
okay.
Is it possible to look at the house today?
Sure. What time works for you today?
You're doing great so far. Believe me, there are ways I've heard people screw this up, and you're doing a great job.
Well, 11. How about 11? Is it possible to look at the house at 11?
Oh, 11. Could we do 10:30?
10:30. Oh, all right. Yeah. We're gonna start.
Okay. Just so I can look the address up. It shows me what you look at. Oh, that's beautiful. And are you guys already pre-approved for a loan?
Yes.
So instead of going to pre-approved, I want you to ask, and for the audience, I want to listen to how this goes. So you've asked pre-approved. I have a suggestion here, and then let's hear how the rest goes.
Yes.
Okay, and okay. Oh, that's a great price too. Oh my goodness.
Do not say stuff like that.
Have you guys talked to any other agents?
We actually have an agent already because we've been looking at the houses lately, and yeah, just
so do you have a signed agreement with that agent?
We hear where this goes, right? That she has an agent that she's been working with, but I want to rewind you back here.
Oh, that's beautiful. And are you guys already pre-approved for a loan?
Instead of are you pre-approved, right? So we've set the appointment. Ask them, how long have you been looking for homes?
Okay.
Because pre-approved is too abrupt, right? It's like, hey, Melissa, how much do you have in your wallet right now? It's too fast. It is a question that needs to be answered, but it's a little bit too fast. And a better question is, how long have you been looking for homes? Do you know what else you would have found out when you asked how long they've been looking for homes?
If they had an agent.
Yeah, most likely, right? She's going to say, yeah, we've been looking for like a year. Wait a minute. Okay. If you've been looking for a year, you probably have a agent, right? Or you've been talking to one. Okay, so you're going to kill a couple birds with one stone here. And the pre-approved question is too fast to hit somebody with right after you've booked an appointment with them. It's too personal. Yeah. And the other thing about being pre-approved, the word pre-approved, you want to get rid of it because especially for newer buyers, if you call me, your first-time buyer, Melissa, and we're chatting a little bit, and I say, oh, Melissa, are you pre-approved? One, that's an industry term. And if you're not, you're going to feel like you've done something wrong or you're in the wrong place or that you shouldn't be talking to me yet. It puts negative pressure on the conversation from a sales perspective.
Okay.
Okay? So get rid of pre-approved. We almost never ask that question. Instead, if I get to the financing question, it might be like, oh, okay, great, Melissa. So are you planning on purchasing in cash or will you be using financing?
Okay.
Yeah. Financing. Okay, great. And so have you spoken to anybody about getting a loan or, getting a mortgage for a home? And in fact, I'd probably say getting a loan or getting financing for a home. That is a softer way to ask, are you pre-approved?
Yeah.
Let's deal with this agent thing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Is this helpful?
Well, yeah. I'm glad I pushed to the point to ask because I would have gone on this appointment and wasted my time.
You did a great job.
The ways you said to put it are a lot smoother than the ways I said it.
This just comes from experience. This is why you're doing a coaching call.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a great price too. Oh my goodness. Have you guys talked to any other agents?
We actually have an agent already because we've been looking at the houses lately, and yeah, just
so do you have a signed agreement with that agent?
The process that we go through is 4 steps. So I want you to paraphrase first. Oh, you have an agent already? Just go up on the end of your sentence and stop.
Repeat. Yeah. Okay.
Whatever they said, repeat it back, swing up on the end, and stop. Okay? Now, they're going to give you more information, or they're going to fill in the gaps for you, or they're going to explain it, or they're going to tell you, yeah, but, we just met him, and la, 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 or whatever it may be. Okay? Slow down. Now, you asked a good question, which is, have you signed anything? That's the next question we want to go to in that process. But let's hear how it went.
Do you have a signed agreement with that agent?
We've been working with him for more than a year now.
Did that answer whether they've signed anything?
No.
Okay.
Because, some agents still don't do the agreements.
Right. A lot of agents don't currently. Yeah. Okay, let's keep listening.
Here now.
Okay. But have you signed a paper saying, I'm only going to work with you? And
good job. Great job coming back for the question again because they didn't answer it.
Did you guys? Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't come to show you the home because.
Now, this is not super clear. I want you to do one more thing here. I want you to ask what their agent's name is.
Okay.
Because if they've actually been working with this person for a year and they're committed to working with this person, it's not clear whether or not they've signed.
Right. They kind of it feels like they're confused about it.
Yeah. Ask what the agent's name is. So do that. If they clearly know the agent's name and they think they've signed, then I would wish them luck and I would tell them to call their agent. Okay. Yeah. I might ask them, have you been seeing properties with other agents other than the guy you have been working with for a year? I just want to see what's going on and how this is working. But I probably would turn them back around to their agent. I just might ask a couple more questions before I did that. And I think that just comes from experience. It's something that you learn and you have to go through this process to learn it. Okay. All right. So how was that, Melissa?
It was great. I actually, with this last one that we went over, I followed up with her like 3 or 4 days later just to make sure she was able to go see those properties. I offered if she wanted to give her agent my name, I would show her properties if you wanted to pay me a fee. I was like, I'm happy to help them out just as long as you get what you need. Like, I want to make sure you're being serviced and you're being taken care of.
Yeah.
And she thanked me. She asked me some questions about offers, and then we talked for a little bit, and then we hung up. The next morning, I get a call from her. I volunteer at my kids' school to read books to the classrooms for their birthdays and stuff. So I was on my way in a shark costume to go read to a classroom. And she calls me twice and then texts me. I just told my agent I no longer want to work with him. I canceled our contract, and we want to work with you. And so I showed them a home. I've been in contact with them. I'm actually leaving for out of town. And I've arranged for one of my friends who's an agent to let them into a few properties on Saturday when they're both off.
Okay.
I told them that I understand, like, your timeline's really tight. And just because I'm going out of town doesn't mean that you stop getting service from me. I will make sure that somebody is there to show you these homes.
Great.
I have a buyer agreement with her already. She signed it. And we're trying to find them a home before school starts next year.
All right. Great. When you say, so after the summer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want to buy during the summer, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Great job.
Yeah.
Give me some takeaways from today.
I try to close too fastly. I need to build fastly. Close too fast. I need to build more rapport before I do that.
Okay. Anything else?
And ask better questions.
Ask better questions. Okay.
Don't give away the cow. You make them buy it.
Do not give away the cow or the milk. They gotta
milk. Make them buy it.
They gotta pay for all of that stuff. Okay, good. Yeah, so what I'd say is you're doing a great job. You have natural sales ability, natural rapport building ability. I want you to stop being a customer service representative, and I want you to be a salesperson. Okay?
Okay.
You need to be a little bit more like the shark that wants to eat the fish rather than trying to serve people by giving them what you think they immediately want. You serve them better by focusing on what you ultimately need to do, which is expertly help somebody buy or sell a property. That's how you serve people to the highest and best possibility. And I want you thinking as you go along, does what I'm doing now help or hurt me ultimately serving them in a buy or sell situation?
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Excellent. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me today, and wish you luck out there.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye. Hey, if you like that and you want more, click below where you can get more training from us.